Okay, hello. Welcome back to Just a Guy Productions, and today I'm finally going to get to talk to you guys about The Scorpion King 3. There are three things that come to mind when I think of this movie. Best movie ever. I only have 19 minutes left in this video camera, but I could go on forever about how much I am obsessed with this movie. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, Matthias, the Scorpion King. He's defeated Sargon. He's defeated Memnon. He's married Cassandra. Balthazar left, although Michael Clark Duncan died, so he could not have returned for this movie, which is very upsetting. Rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan. I will always be a big fan. So yeah, he's ruling benevolently, albeit he still has a thirst for battle, but still, he rules benevolently. Tragically, Cassandra dies, he loses his empire, he's reduced to a life of working for mercenary gold. All he wants is to die well in pursuit of mercenary gold and freedom from the pain that haunts him over the death of his wife. Understandable. I mean, you lost the person you love more than anyone else in the world. I understand that. He finds himself working for King Horus, the most powerful ruler in the world. Horus is an Egyptian name. Matthias' kingdom is set in Mesopotamia. He was supposed to travel to Egypt, but didn't. Once again, combination of things leading back to historical inaccuracy. Not good, but I do give them credit. Right, Horus is at war with his brother Talus, who was denied the throne. Talus thought he was the rightful heir because, all brothers think that they're the rightful heirs yet. When does this ever work out? No, never. Never. Okay, so Matthias opens up besting Cyrus, one of Horus's most valued military advisors, who was a spy for Sargon. No, not Sargon, Talus. Sorry, I'm getting the movies confused. I just reviewed the second one. Cut me some slack. Okay, so Cyrus was defeated and beheaded. His head was brought to Horus in a basket. Horus has another job for Matthias because Talus has declared war on King Ramessan, Horus's last ally in the known world, according to the movie's intro. So yeah, Matthias has to keep Talus held off until Horus's army gets there to help Ramessan. And Matthias is informed of a hidden warrior called Cobra, who is also at war with Talus. Ramessan and Cobra are allies, so once Cobra finds out that Matthias' mission is to protect Ramessan, then hopefully Cobra will come to his aid. So yeah, Matthias sets off with the help of the German barbarian Olaf, who doesn't seem to like him one bit, saying that he is the better warrior, although his fighting style is clumsy and unorthodox and quite brutish, as most barbarians will turn out to be. He often jokes. He often says that he smells delicious or like a warrior. He's got a great sense of humor, but can be sort of mean. So Matthias and Olaf have this awful fist fight, and I mean just awful. One of the worst fights I've ever seen. A bad traded insults, not realistic fighting, clumsy blows, fighting more with their words than with their fists. But then they get robbed by these bandits. This is actually the coolest robbery I've ever seen, and that meaning not much happens to make it cool. It is walk up, and Matthias and Olaf are too busy fighting to notice. So they just take their stuff and walk away. So then Matthias and Olaf go after the bandits, and here we have this awesome fight where a bunch of drunk bandits are getting their butts kicked by Matthias, wielding a flaming flimsy stick, and Olaf just slamming them together. Hilarious. And then they're set on fire, and they run screaming off into the woods and leave behind their entire camp, and they're never seen again. I don't care what happens to them after that. Let's focus on the rest of the movie. So Olaf and Matthias swap their backstories. Well, Olaf shares his backstory. He's married, has 17 daughters, yet still has interest in other women. Olaf is quite the player. Matthias refuses to share his own backstory, saying that he and Olaf are not brothers, and then they just go to sleep. And then meanwhile, Talus is preparing to attack Ramessan, sending a detail of his men to attack. And then we have one of the best battles I've ever seen in a movie. Talos' attack on Ramazan via 65 assassins. With some of the best lines ever, like, "Fight with me to the end, secure the gates, bring up the beast. If we cannot have life, we will have honor." I love Ramazan. He doesn't do any fighting in this battle, but he is very, very brave. He's not like one of those leaders who just sends his troops out to do the dying for him. He's with them on the front lines. He's a great leader. Like, he's great. I love Ramazan. Okay. So yeah, Matthias and Olaf come to the rescue and single-handedly defeat Talos' entire 65-man army. They set up a ring of fire to intimidate the soldiers, and Matthias shoots flaming arrows at them from the shadows, and Olaf hurls javelins that are also from behind the wall of fire. They burn trees. All 65 men are killed. And then, and also, not to mention, Ramazan has freaking war elephants. I mean, seriously. You don't see this kind of stuff unless you have, India or Carthage, but still, Ramazan has war elephants. I love war elephants. Alright, so, after that, Matthias and Olaf enter the palace with the greatest intro I've ever seen. Sire, Akkadian, and this guy. Oh my god, I watched that one line like 17 times last night. It's so funny. Okay, so Ramazan is deeply impressed to figure out that Matthias and Olaf were the only ones sent to help him. There was no army in the jungle. They were sent by Horus, but they were not sent with an army. But they managed to defeat an entire army double-handedly. Yeah, double-handedly defeat an entire army. So yeah, Matthias is upset to figure out they aren't actually getting paid, but comes up with another plan after agreeing to rescue Ramazan's daughter, Princess Silda. The necklace that Silda was seen wearing in her portrait was the Eye of God's medallion, which is very valuable. So Matthias and Olaf, being the mercenaries that they are sent out after it, from which they come up with another plan, which is that Matthias will offer Olaf to Talos' forces to help fight Ramazan's attacking army, while Matthias searches for both Silda and the medallion. So then another battle breaks out, this time not so much. And the shocking thing is that even though the movie is supposed to be Mesopotamian and Egyptian and is taking place in Thailand and is not Japanese in any way, shape, or form, there are ninjas. Why? No, I'm not actually going to argue. They actually made for some of the best fight scenes in the entire movie. So yeah, there are ninjas. Cobra leads an army of ninjas. There are ninjas in Thailand. There are not supposed to be ninjas anywhere except in Japan. So yeah, Matthias fights off Cobra and Cobra's ninjas. They steal a war elephant. Silda is gone. The medallion is gone with her. Talos has the medallion. And Olaf is deeply upset by all this on the fact that he's not getting paid, but nonetheless continues to say, "Let's crack some heads!" Oh my god. So yeah. From there, Talos hires Matthias and Olaf to go bring back both Silda and the head of Cobra. Alright, yeah. So, Matthias and Olaf set out to bring back Silda and the head of Cobra, getting paid for that job, then double-crossing Talos, bringing Silda back to Ramazan, keeping the medallion, getting paid 3 times over, all for basically the same job. I may not like a lot of aspects of this movie, but one thing that I will admit is that Matthias is exceptionally good at planning how to get paid. Alright, so yeah. The ninjas once again show up, ambush Matthias and Olaf in the woods. There's a short 5-blow, but nonetheless awesome scene where Olaf beats ninjas with his mace, and in the end, it's revealed that Cobra and Silda are actually one and the same. They're the same person. Silda is masquerading as Cobra to help her father. She's deeply upset with Matthias and Olaf for interfering with her plans to find her medallion, which Talos stole from her. And then Matthias is about to leave, but Silda identifies him as the Scorpion King, which of course he was. Matthias gets deeply angered by this, wanders off into the woods, and from there we cut to where Talos finally takes down, beats, and imprisons Ramazan, securing what he was after all along, the legendary Book of the Dead. Ramazan was guardian of the Book of the Dead, and Talos wanted it so he could unleash the warriors of the underworld and better attack Horus. I should have mentioned that earlier. I don't know why I forgot, but you never know, you know? So yeah, Talos has the book. He's captured Ramazan's palace. Matthias is deeply stressed because his past is coming back to haunt him. Olaf just wants his money, but he also wants a good fight and is starting to befriend Matthias despite their original differences. Everything seems to either be wrapping up or totally falling apart. And from here we have this awesome training scene where Silda is instructing Olaf that he has to let go of everything he knows if he's going to fight with them. So he tries and fails miserably to master the ways of the ninjas because, ninjas are not supposed to be in Thailand. I'm not going to criticize a lot about this movie, but you are not supposed to have ninjas in Thailand. Alright, so we got Silda and Matthias have a fight. From their fight, they fall deeply in love. They start to care for each other. Matthias is finally moving on with his life. Of course, because it's been years since Cassandra has died. And he's starting to see that maybe if he can't forgive himself for the past, he can get the redemption he's battling so hard for. I forgot to mention that the movie is called Scorpion King 3: Battle for Redemption. Once again, I'm forgetting a lot in this video. So yeah. Talos awakens the warriors from the underworld. We have Dave Bautista, Kimbo Slice, and my favorite person of all time, Selena Lo. I'm going to talk to you guys for a quick second about Selena Lo. Selena Lo is beautiful. She is incredibly talented. She is a very humble person. She's confident. She focuses highly on the martial arts skills. And plus, she is the best martial artist I think I've ever seen. She's amazing. I freaking love you, Selena Lo. We need more women like you in the world. Women who are confident in their abilities and in their looks, who feel no shame, who try to inspire greatness in others. I mean, it's so great. And if we had more women like you, it would be so great. Okay, that's done. Talos orders the 3 undead warriors to kill his best men and sends Selena Lo and Kimbo Slice out to find and kill Cobra and return their mercenaries and find the medallion and bring back Silda and everything he could not do himself on the part because Talos is totally incompetent as a leader. Okay, so Matthias and Olaf originally confront Selena Lo. Selena Lo defeats them, but then they have to deal with Kimbo Slice and his flaming warhammer. Yes, a flaming warhammer. Could there be a cooler weapon? No, there could not. So Matthias and Olaf attack and subdue the flaming warhammer wielding Kimbo Slice, aided by at least 11 ninjas who kick and pummel him and punch him and beat him and savagely attack him, but to no avail. He just sends them all flying in different directions. Eventually, he's knocked over a waterfall, suspended in midair, and burned with the flames of his own flaming warhammer. Upset that he died and not David Bautista, but nonetheless a very, very awesome death. So then Matthias comes up with yet another plan to get paid. He is turning in Silda, as well as the head of one of the beheaded bodies of the ninjas that died thanks to Kimbo Slice, in order to get paid, double-cross, kill Talos, lead the way for Horus's army to enter the palace, return Silda to her father, and finally get paid threefold for the job he promised he would do, but never actually did. So yeah, Matthias and Olaf hand Silda over to Talos. Talos is about to seduce her, but Matthias rescues her. Silda fights off Selena Lo. Olaf fights David Bautista in the single best battle I've ever seen. Matthias and Talos have this awful chariot race to the gates of the village when they're surrounded by Ramazan's army, who Matthias rallies to help his cause and raise morale enough to win the day. And they did the impossible. They retook Ramazan's palace, but failed to save their king. The undead warriors of the underworld swear allegiance to Matthias. He becomes king in Ramazan's place because Ramazan dies tragically in Silda's arms. Horus arrives, but Matthias tells him that these people Matthias gives the most epic closing speech ever, saying that Horus is not welcome here, and although they are grateful for everything he's done to help them regain their freedom, they're willing to fight to stay free. Isn't that the message to all great civilizations, that they're willing to fight for what they want, which is freedom from oppression and tyranny and rule that is not their own? I mean, seriously, it's awesome. Matthias gave them what they wanted. He's the epitome of a leader. Words can't even describe it. It's such a great ending speech. So yeah, Stilda and Matthias are in love. Matthias is deeply over his romantic troubles. He's a king again. He leads his people with benevolence, and everything is finally looking up for him. Okay. I finally covered all the details of this movie. Now let's talk about the nitty-gritty. Acting, admittedly not the best, but after watching this movie several times, I immensely prefer Victor Webster over Dwayne Johnson. First of all, Victor Webster plays the role better, and I just like his acting better. He's not as well known as Dwayne Johnson is, and I just applaud their choice to substitute Johnson with Webster. Other than that, Stilda seems a little bit forced dramatic, like all of Matthias' love interests. Selena Lowe is awesome. Kimbo Slice died dramatically. David Bautista, I could have done without, but the knives on the chains, it's great. Okay. Admittedly, not the best set design, and I have some nitpicks about the fighting choreography. It could have been better. They could have had the war elephants doing so much more on account of them being freaking war elephants. But you can't exactly have a perfect movie. But this one came pretty darn close. I love the plot for this movie. It's original, it's dynamic, it's dramatic, it's poetic, it's romantic, it's sarcastic, it's funny, it's intense, it's everything I want out of a movie, and it was not even put into theaters, which I can understand because this movie did not have such a large fan base. The Mummy franchise did, just not this movie in particular. So yeah, The Scorpion King 3, I'm not even going to give it a rating. It's so mind-blowing. I highly recommend this movie to any fans of action, any fans of The Scorpion King, just any fans of movies. I cannot recommend this movie enough. This review was so enjoyable, I'm going to go watch it again. Thank you for joining me for this review, and I will see you next time where I will be delving into the ways and the mysteries and the writing and the action and the orcs of the Gaunt series. I'll see you next time.